Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, and today I'm going to bring back a segment I haven't done in nearly 1.5 years. Welcome back to ye old Yu-Gi-Oh! Yay! Kabloons, confetti, you can't see it because I'm in my recording studio, and got them just flying around everywhere. Let me pop one. Pop. Alright, so what is ye old Yu-Gi-Oh? If you don't know, it's a discussion video on like past formats, but this one I'm going to do something a little different because this is a range of many formats, and this is not a deck or a deck list from those formats. It's an idea. So let's go ahead and get into this. The most powerful card of the entire GX era. Now, that's kind of a fib, because obviously we had Dark Armed, and we had plenty of other cards, but this card single-handedly changed the game we play. This card was the first step to successful archetype creations. This card was the first step to speeding up the game. This was the first step to consistency. This was a first step to playing multiples of the same card in your deck because you know you can see them faster. This card, Phantom Darkness, Invasion of Chaos, they sped up the game, but they didn't speed up the consistency of it. This card did. This card, like, I literally cannot put an emphasis on how important Destiny Draw is to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It changed so much of how we play now. We realized this was the time where we realized sometimes bodies don't matter. It really matters about how much card advantage you can make. And that's why Malicious. Like, seriously? Okay, let's get into this. So, Destiny Draw, on the release of Malicious and Destiny Draw, which I think was a little after Power of the Duelist, like a little bit right after. I think it was 2007 when it started. Everything changed. So, Destiny Heroes were the archetype of GX. There was really just one archetype being played, outside of Gladiator Beast at the end, and that was Destiny Heroes. So, our first view of them is with something called Destiny Hero Beatdown, or its more cool name, T-Hero. So, I think I got the exact ratios right here. The guys played triple Malicious, double Dasher, one Disc Commander, one Fearmonger, and one Stratos. So, what did this do? Well, Destiny Draw, discard a Destiny Hero, draw 2 cards, and this one, when you can banish him to summon another copy out of your deck. During a draw phase, if you draw a monster, you can reel it to special summon it once while it's in the grave. When he's special summoned from the graveyard, draw 2 cards. And when he's destroyed by battle, now at this time, I think he's gotten errata now, where he's even slower and more useless. But back in the day, when he's destroyed by battle, your next standby phase, you revived a Destiny Hero out of your graveyard. And if it was Disc Commander, draw 2 cards. So, even for back then, these were, like, decent effects, but they were kind of not... They were kind of like... There were better options, but you know what? It didn't matter, because these were monsters that got you card advantage, and it turned Destiny Draw online. Malicious, getting more copies of things for tribute summons, or for my favorite, Metamorphosis and T-Heroes to make a big fusion that had a stun effect. Incredible. It was literally incredible. Stratos for the +1, search Malicious, Destiny Draw, draw 2, and then banish the Malicious for the +2. And 2007 was absurd. So we're at a phase now where a bad deck can go +3 just fine. But there was a time where it could take 3 turns to accumulate a +1. And it's absurd. So, all these Destiny Heroes, it's not the fact that they're they're all like good monsters, it's the fact that they're all good in a specific scenario. They're literally a toolbox. And when this toolbox allows you to just draw 2 cards all the time, then that's good. That's very good. That means I don't have to worry about, oh, well, I could draw Breaker and like another card, or I can just draw Destiny Draw Disc Commander, and one gets you to the cards you want faster. Rather than playing filler staples, you could play cards that make your deck faster, which automatically makes your deck better. And that's what Destiny Draw did. That's what all these cards do. They're a toolbox that enabled speed. And at that center of speed was a Stratos, but very, very early on, there were 3 of them. I mean, like, super early on. I don't think we had... I think in the TCG, we didn't have Stratos and 3 Stratos and Destiny Draw, but in the OCG, they did. And it was with Future Fusion and Triple Diamond Dude and an ass load of spells, and it was called Airblade Turbo, which is where I got my name Chaos Blade as a tribute to that deck, because it obviously played Divine Sword too. So you got all these consistency fixes, you got all these draw cards, you got all these plays, you can make all this advantage, and it just doesn't matter. Your toolbox of mediocre cards stop being relevant. The strange thing is, one of the times I was talking to John Moore, he said Magician of Faith was power crept like sometime like in 2008 or somewhere even before that, because the Destiny Draw engine had made Magician of Faith a neat card, but not that powerful because you could get to cards faster with other things. And I gotta kind of agree with that. And it's simple. This is power creep. This is power creep at its purest. Destiny Heroes power crept, I should say, a game that was about simple +1s that could take a few turns, or you can get like kind of shittier +1s, but get a lot more of them. And when you have so much more, sometimes it doesn't matter because they won't have enough cards to deal with it. So yeah, this is insane. And one of the things about all the Destiny heroes at this time is none of them actually had to interact with each other outside of Fearmonger. Like, Diamond Dude didn't need another Destiny hero to be good, and that's what's so interesting about the D-Draw era, is that none of the Destiny heroes needed another one of themselves to be good. They all just did something. Diamond Dude, there's nothing in there that says you need another Destiny hero, and you can just resolve spells from your deck without cost if you just hit it. Malicious, you only need more Maliciouses. This is just a big guy that could summon Demok off the top. Disc Commander, you just need a revival spell, and Fearmonger was like the only one, but it was to pair up with Disc Commander. So that's what's so interesting about the Destiny heroes at this time, is they didn't need other cards. They were just good on their own, and that's what made D-Draw so good, is that you're just pitching good monsters that you don't need for other cards, and if you do need them, well, that's fine, you have them. And if you don't draw D-Draw, that's fine, because they're good enough monsters. They don't need another thing to be good. And that's pretty insane. This is so revolutionary. It's a toolbox archetype that gave you speed. And one of those things I said about Dimension Fusion and Phoenix Blade is Destiny Heroes allowed so many OTKs and FTKs for their time. Malicious did not stay at 3 for very long. Stratos immediately went to 1 after its release. Like, I think some ridiculous time after. It was so quick. Incredible. And then when you got T-Heroes, I don't know why I put this in there. When you got T-Heroes, you could just tribute off Malicious for this, and this card got banned afterwards. So, 2007 is coming to an end, and a few... Malicious is at... I think Malicious is about to go to 2, and Stratos is at 1. Then we come to Perfect Circle, late 2007. Mid to late 2007, I should say. And this deck abused the fuck out of Disc Commander. Holy shit. This I can't remember why it was called Perfect Circle. I remember someone told me, and it was kind of a goofy answer. But yeah, tribute, draw, draw. And it was absurd. And with Ryza and Wind Blast, you could just set your opponent so far back. Treeborn Frog, all these cards, and they were all enabled with Destiny Draw. All these decks enabled with Destiny Draw. A simple Stratos with Destiny Draw just put you so far ahead you could easily win. And then, let's not forget. So, I'm going to mention this later, but let's not forget they're dark. So a new card came out called Crush Card Virus. And what Crush Card Virus did is it made the Destiny heroes even more dangerous than they already were. And, that's stupid. Crush Card, for its time, should have just never been released. They should have either banned it as a promo. It was bad. The Crush Card was probably one of the most unfair cards of its time. Maybe even more so than Ring of Destruction. And Ring of Destruction was pretty bullshit, too. But Crush Card Virus, So, now that you have Crush Card in the game, you can incentivize playing even less Destiny heroes, because now you can play like Fearmonger, 2 Disc, 2 Malicious with the Stratos, and one of them can be used to Crush Card, and then you could just end your turn because you know your opponent cannot threaten you in any scenario. And then when you're thinking about Songen too, and searching a Destiny hero when you do it, it's too much. And then with like Lad, it's just such a powerful card. And then we go to early 2008, the release of Phantom Darkness. We got a new series of cards, technically known as the Dark Counterparts, which are dark versions of a classic dual monsters. So we got Dark Arm Dragon, Dark Horus, Dark Creator, Dark Greffer. And they had a recurring theme, which was you wanted darks in your graveyard, and you wanted to banish darks. What are dark monsters that can easily put themselves in the grave, easily searchable, and banish themselves? Well, Destiny heroes. And this was before Teledeath. This was Dark Arm Return. We still had Disc Commander. So I have been playtesting that deck. I got a retro deck. The only thing I'm missing from it is Stratos. And after playtesting it, I realized the fucking deck doesn't stop drawing. There are some games where I've drawn so much and I could still keep going, but I decided I'm better off just sticking where I am now because I don't want to deck out. That was a real fucking thing. It's absurd. This deck was so fast for its time, way too fast, and it got an emergency list and then hit again on the list, which banned Disc Commander. And not to mention, I forgot to mention, Plasma came out in 2007, which allowed Scapegoat to be an even more powerful card, because Plasma, again, like the other Destiny heroes, it doesn't need other Destiny heroes to be good. So with like Scapegoat, or if you just had a bunch of return plays, you can make this, and it was way too powerful for your opponent to deal with. So yeah, we got all this. Triple Dark Arm, triple Allure, triple Destiny Draw, all these draw cards, Disc Commander. It was unwinnable. And with Return, it was absurd. So then, we move from the GX to the very beginning of 5Ds. For some reason, Triple Malicious was a thing. I don't know why. They didn't realize that people were playing the fuck out of them. So now, Malicious was a perfect synchro fodder with emergency teleport to make Stardust Dragon, which made your Dark Arm investments even easier to justify. And you could just play a trap lineup of Triple Solemn, Royal Oppressions, and your opponent just couldn't win. Your opponent literally couldn't win from a first... It was the first time of Solitaire Yu-Gi-Oh! If you could open correctly. But again, they slowly started to whittle down. Disc Commander's gone, and Allure, I believe, is at 2, and I think Dark Arm is at 2. So, a little bit of draw power gone. But it doesn't matter. It was the most oppressive deck of its time. So they hit it. 2 Malicious, 2 Destiny Draw. Doesn't matter. I think 1 Teleport too. Doesn't matter. Still oppressive. Okay. So 1 Destiny Draw. No. 2 Destiny Draw, 2 Allure, 1 Dad. Doesn't matter. It still managed to top events. And we got cards like Rescue Cat 2, which could even build more synchros. So they went off on this deck. 1 Destiny Draw, 2 Malicious, 1 Allure, 1 Dark Arm Dragon, 1 Teleport, 1 Judgment, and I think 1 Oppression at this point. It was gone. They finally, after over 2 years, Destiny Draw engines had finally been destroyed. And that still didn't stop people from trying it. So, what do I gotta say about it? Well, holy fuck. That's a long time. This changed everything about how we play Yu-Gi-Oh! We realized that Graveyard was important. The Graveyard had finally become a second hand. Resource management was a thing of the past because there were so many cards that just got you extra cards. It was the first step to modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Unfortunately, they took us... Well, fortunately, I should say. Sometimes unfortunately. Depends on your view of Yu-Gi-Oh! They took a step back, and like 2010 was really, really slow. But it goes to show you. Destiny Heroes changed Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think... Personally, I believe Destiny Heroes changed for the better, but only so much, because to me, Destiny Heroes are fair. Because if you're looking at all their effects of the old ones, they're all good, but none of them are, like, good on their own, like, perfectly. Like, how do I describe this? Even though they're independent of each other, they're still not great cards. They're not, like, unfair cards. Every single one of them has a fair effect outside of Original Disc Commander and Malicious. But it's the fact that they let you draw so many cards that made them great. The issue, I think, now with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is if you're giving a deck like... if you're giving Destiny Hero decks consistency levels to decks that have better monsters, you're kind of overdoing it. And the thing about Destiny Heroes is they were always a good toolbox, but they were never a center of a deck, and they never had a play style. They were just, what did you feel would be the best option? And I love options rather than optimal in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like triple 3-of engine, all that crap. Like, of course it's optimal to play 3 of the best cards, but when you're looking at Destiny Heroes, you got this interesting toolbox of cards you could play or couldn't, and it's up to you what you decide. And I think that's a better way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Is deciding rather than knowing and dictating. And I think a toolbox is better for the game than just mandatory staples of a deck. But that's it for the past, and now I want to take it to where Destiny Heroes are now. So Destiny Heroes have gotten another huge wave of support, and then a tiny wave of support in the last Battle of Legends. And, I gotta say, their cards, it didn't do anything. Okay, so there's some pretty good ones they gave us. We got Dangerous, which on paper doesn't seem good because it's a fusion that you have to discard to just Foolish Burial. But, like I said, fusion summoning has become way easier. Way easier. Like, I'm not even joking. You can fusion summon for free with most of the cards in the game. And, like, a lot of Destiny Heroes like being in the grave. So I actually really like this card. I think it's good. And then Celestial, drawing 2 cards on anything is always solid. But, like, otherwise, So they kind of defeat the purpose of the original Destiny Heroes, where they were like good on their own, or they were good with very little investment. Because this one, at the end phase, you recycle a hero once per duel, and yeah, it has another like +1 burn. I don't know how to describe it, but it counters burn, but that's not relevant outside of like, I don't know. And then like Drill Dark, you need another Destiny hero in hand with equal or less attack. Like, the issue is that it defeated why Destiny heroes were good. Destiny heroes were good because they didn't need other cards to do what they were wanting to do. And I think that if they're going to make future Destiny hero support, I think what they need to do is they need to realize that the reason Destiny heroes were good was not because they were a good deck, but quite literally, they were a good draw engine. They are a draw engine pretending to be a deck. And if they ever catch on to this, I would love it, because each hero can do something different and not synergize with the archetype. That's fine. That's totally fine if their cards don't synergize perfectly with the archetype, because it doesn't need to be an archetype. It just needs to be a draw engine. And like, when you say it has to do something with something else, it makes it more vanilla for your Destiny draw than it needs to be. Unlike Malicious, Disc Commander, Dasher, Diamond Dude. Like, it makes them less Garnet than they already are. And yeah, that's about it. This was a long video, and I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you got some history. I'm gonna go with the final thought and saying, if they make more Destiny heroes, just do what you were doing back in 2006 and 7 and go on making them good standalone cards for Destiny draw, rather than trying to make a really shitty deck out of them. Because the strategy that they gave us with the Waves of Support was really terrible. It was actually genuinely terrible. But, like, how would I put it? If we got another, like, Diamond Dude that works for normal traps, or, like, a new version of Plasma or Dogma where you tribute 3 monsters, and then, like, I don't know, it could disable special summoning. Like, that would help. Like, cards like this, you don't need to make Destiny heroes a deck, you just need to make them monsters. Because at the end of the day, like I said, they're not a deck. They're the best draw engine Yu-Gi-Oh! Had ever introduced. So yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinnerflax will take your soul.